Transcendence through meditation. I want to talk about this topic. I have not been meditating for long, years. Well, actually, it's been years now, about 3 years. And no, I'm not an expert at it. In all honesty, I've only had that nirvana transcendent experience one time, but it was right when I needed it. It was profound. It was awesome. I hope everyone finds it someday because it's a real phenomenon. And coming out of I've been listening to Brendan Burchard's release meditation. He's the guy that video on YouTube really paved the way, and I love the music that he chose. And you can find that music track on Dr. Wayne Dyer's channel. He talks about the I am meditation, and Brendan's technique is to use the word release, which I think is brilliant, to remind yourself to just release the thoughts and the stress. And I think what happens, well, first off, when I came out of it that one time, I always had like an amazing experience in meditation. I would sing things would pop in my head, which were cool, and I just felt really good about it afterwards. But this one magical time, I remember the music was done, and I just, wow, this is perfect, and I just felt just totally at peace. And at that point in my life, nothing was peaceful. It was huge stress on the family, with personal things, and with politics, where this country was at. And that's what drove me to meditation. Is the tremendous stress I was under. I needed something. And in those minutes right after, for me, it just felt like a recognition of my deep reality. And you just know it. You're not simply flesh and blood. You're way more than that. You're energy. We come from stars. Never forget that. I would say it over and over. I mean, that's a huge part of my spirituality. We're made of energy, light. It's what we are. That everything was working out perfectly, which I had a hard time buying, but you just felt it. And I've had other amazing experiences since then. And now meditation is something else for me. But I think they use the word transcendence, it was rising above the noise and the nonsense of this world. The dark energy that really runs this world and runs the story about how you should be afraid and how terrible everything is to control you. I think that's just gravity, right? And that's the game of the universe. It's a game. You're going to have to struggle. You're going to have to lose your fear and transcend. And so, after that, with that concept in mind, I would think maybe my mantra would be release up. Like I'm rising up through the noise of the world to the family of stars that we come from. I mean, those are our ancestors, and stars have to die to give life to everything else. Knowing that, then you understand why this repeating myth of like Thor and Jesus, the Messiah, the God comes down and dies for the world. That's a repeating myth. But what is myth? There's a poem I love inside of a Yes album. And he says, one of the lines in that poem is, truth conceals itself in error. What you think is not true, maybe that's how we actually do communicate to each other across time. That this dark force that tries to run the story here, it's got to be in disguise, otherwise it gets wiped out. Symbols, poems, songs, stories, that's how truth is spread. And anyway, got off topic here. There's a million things I'd like to talk about. I do encourage you to try meditation. There's different ways to do it, but I can't recommend that Brendan Burchard video any more highly to someone who's interested, hasn't had any experience with it, because he really lays out the idea behind it and convincing argument to all sorts of psychological studies and so forth, that the benefits are real. And the sad thing is that most people don't ever have that experience, and it's a huge key to living life. Everyone should be meditating. I say that no doubt in my mind. And there's a reason we have this technology throughout the century. I think this is part of. I see huge shifts happening in the country and the world. This is part of it, coming back to more ancient wisdom, how we think about food as medicine and stop eating the processed food. And this is one of those things too. Meditating, everybody should be meditating. And then if you're still watching, more life advice: take care of your health, exercise. These bodies are brilliant, but they're made to move forward, to keep struggling. Just like you, as a spiritual being, are meant to keep struggling and growing. Never quit. Um, and I won't put a link. You can just look up a release meditation. It's on Brendan's channel. Um, and and then spread the knowledge too. I used to talk to people who they'd recommend meditating, and I didn't think much of it. I wish they were more convincing, and it made the argument. And no, it's made a huge difference in my life, and it's a real thing. It's not. You didn't have to be spiritual to get into it, but I think that was part of it too. That it did bring me back to a connection to the universe that I always felt, but then maybe didn't feel so much for a while. I hope that serves you. I hope that's helpful to you. Um, and yeah, I might try and do other. Well, I'll do. Anyway, enough said. I wish you well. Have a good day. Bye.